This episode is in collaboration with Protein Rebel. Protein Rebel provides natural sports nutrition for runners that's easy to digest and tasty, while delivering both performance and health benefits. Protein Rebel are a natural sports nutrition brand focused on easy to digest and tasty products for endurance athletes, including runners, cyclists and triathletes. Unlike the big brands that are happy to use bulk fillers and highly processed industrial ingredients, they don't believe that sports nutrition should turn your stomach into a chemical factory. Protein Rebel believe in natural, calming ingredients that taste great and have a low impact on the planet. Check them out at proteinrebel.com and use code LOCALRUNNERS15 for 15% off.
Now, on to the interview of the episode, and to help celebrate International Women's Day, we are shining a light on a Salford Harrier. She is an amazing local female athlete who is not only a fantastic runner, but has been taking the Hyrox world by storm. She has PBs of 16:43 for the 5k, 34:17 for the 10k, and is the Hyrox Open Solo world record holder with a time of 58:47, as well as a women's doubles age group world record holder in the 30 to 39 age category with a time of 57:31. Please welcome to the podcast, Sinéad Bent.
Hello.
Welcome, Sinéad. That was quite an introduction now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think we say world record holder much, do we, when we're introducing people?
Got to be a first, that.
Yeah. Discussion point. Yeah, so is this a GPS?
Yeah.
Right, okay. We've had a few different ideas for discussion points today, so that's the hesitation. But this one's come up because we've seen a lot of people talking about the course being long over the weekend on the Tameside 5k. And we see this quite a lot actually in different races where people challenge the course distance. I think from my point of view personally, always go off the race distance, never go off your GPS. And I think I see this all the time when first of all, certified course measurement, isn't it? That's the first thing.
Yeah, so it was measured the first time by the BMC, and that was the original 5k course, and then it's since been renewed. It's up for remeasure in I think 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, Sinead, I'll go to you because you've got one of the cruelest watches in Salford, haven't you?
Yeah, when we're training, mine always bleeps last out of everyone.
Yeah, I think you and Mark Collier are doing an extra lap most
everyone's
weeks.
like waiting for mine to go, like 100 metres later. Yeah.
I mean, what we do in our group when we do marathon sessions is one of us will run the session on the watch, and then so I'll set the session up in my watch, for example, and when my beats, everyone just manually splits theirs, and we just go off one watch. Because obviously over the course of a 20-mile session, sometimes you're accruing 200-300 metres, sometimes even more.
Yeah.
So it just shows you how varied it is.
I think with the course as well at the Tameside cycle track, if you're not taking the racing line, if you're slightly out, you're going to add a few metres on per lap anyway.
Isn't it like that on the track? On the running track, if you're not on the line, and no one can run on the line anyway.
So there was a session that I did with Sam. So I've been doing the tempos on the athletics track at East Cheshire, and I think mine beeped for 5 mile about 300 metres early.
Yeah, mine's done that before.
But we all know that you're on a track that's measured, so you've just got to trust that process.
You go off the floor.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why you have track mode on your watch, because the GPS isn't reliable enough to pick up a 400 metre rep around a track, so I always put mine on track mode, and you'll be getting a more accurate split then as you're doing your track sessions.
And also, what wrist do you wear it on? Because I realised all you guys at Green Gate wear it on the left, and I wear it on the right. So I switched it over, and it bleeped earlier.
Do you know what? I always wear mine on my right, but then only on Thursday nights do I swap it.
Why did you do that? Did you realise as well?
No. Well, yes and no, really. So I have some quite dark tattoos there, so my watch generally doesn't pick up my heart rate all through the day today. But obviously when you're running, it doesn't matter because I wear my chest strap there. So obviously when I go to Green Gate, to make sure that I'm getting the right splits, I swap it.
You said that
there
before about which hand you wear the watch.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Yeah, if you've not actually ever tried it, go to a loop like the Green Gate tempo loop or the Park Road loop in Ashton or whatever your local tempo loop is, and just try doing it with the watch on the left and then try doing it with the watch on the right, and you'll see there's quite a difference.
Remember when we were training together on oat trim, and you showed that you'd been in the yard of that
oh my God,
factory.
Yeah. I remember saying to you, Sean, we're about halfway around the first lap, surely we're not running 6:10 miling, Sean. Like, no, we're doing about 5:40s, Dave.
Every lap he'd been going in the yard to this other building and having a nosy round and coming out again.
So I guess the bottom line is just to rely on what the actual race measurement is, isn't it? Rely that it's been measured and that's what's accurate.
Because some people have put on Strava saying that they got this on the watch, but the official time was a little bit more. But when you actually zoom into the Strava, they're not taking the same line each time on Strava. It's slightly out, so you're going to keep adding and adding. And if you zoom into your Strava, you know you've ran the same line on each lap, but your GPS will be slightly out. So we can assure you it's been measured officially, and the 5k time is the 5k time by Crazy Legs.
And there's quite a few of these multi-lap 5Ks around now. So Podium 5K is the most well-known.
Yeah.
Obviously the one that we organised on Saturday. There's one down in Leicester as well, organised by Podium again. And they all seem to do the same thing. They all seem to bring up long GPS readings. And I think it's just the nature of those courses. Even the Armagh 5K, when I did that a few years ago, it's a world-renowned 5K, possibly the fastest 5K race in the world. And that came up at well over 5k for me. So yeah, it's always go off the race distance, and we can assure you it was the accurate distance.
And I did have to get my tape measure out and actually measure from a certain line, 7.64 metres exactly. So yes, it is measured.
Anyway, case closed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Case closed.
So Sinead, let's start with running. When did you first get into running?
When I was at school, and I was in primary school, I used to do the local races. So I grew up in Kersley, so we used to do all the races with all the other primary schools in Kersley. And I used to win. And my teacher was like, you need to go to a club. And I was like, no, it's fine, no. And then I went to secondary school, and again, I used to win. So my teacher was like, no, you really need to go to a club now. So that's when I joined a club. Yeah, and then it went from there.
Yeah. And what about running as a junior? Can you tell us a bit more about what you competed in as a junior?
Yeah, so I did track, did the cross country, I think I tried fell running once and hated it, but now I love it, so that's weird. Yeah, I did a bit of everything, just like we all did, like everyone at Salford. We all, in the summer we do track, in the winter we do cross country, because winter miles, summer smiles and all that. But yeah, I mean, the journey wasn't quite easy to get there. Like Duncan I used to have to get 3 buses to get from college to the track or to training, or I'd have to get a lift from one of my mates in Cheetham Hill or something. And like Duncan used to have to like drop me off part way home just so that my journey home was less, so then I wouldn't have to go to bed really late and then get up and do the thing the next day. And yeah, so I think I was a little bit limited in the sense that as I got a bit older, so I left home when I was 16, like how to get to races. So I probably didn't do all of the races that I could have done because I couldn't get there. So it was, if somebody else was going, I could grab a lift, but otherwise, or like if it was Great Manchester, you could go with the team club. But even then, it was like I had to try and get to the bus with everybody. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good job. So Duncan was probably making sure that you had to go to Salford then.
Yeah.
And go another club.
Well, I actually started off at Bolton, but that was when I lived at home.
I've just picked that up on your Power of 10. Yeah, you were at Bolton,
Yeah,
and then you were at
started.
Salford Mets, according to your Power of 10.
Yeah, so Duncan was a coach at Salford Mets, and then he left and formed his own junior section, so I was the OG of the junior section. Basically, yeah, so it was a tiny little group of, I think, 6 girls at the time. And then obviously his daughters as well, and as they got older they grew and grew. I think because there was less juniors, I was, as a junior, used to run for the seniors at the road relays and stuff, just because we didn't have other people that I could compete with as a team. But now we've got so many teams, there's hundreds of them. But yeah, back then I didn't have my own team.
And obviously running for Salford as well, you've had quite a lot of success in that women's team. So could you tell us about perhaps some of your most memorable successes running with the club?
Oh my God, so many.
Either individually or as part of the
Yeah,
team.
there's so many. I think probably the big one, especially for Duncan as well, would be the Nationals 6 stage that we won 2022. Yeah, that was unreal. I don't think the woman had ever won before. And then we got the Jeff Doggett trophy back, so that was cool. And then I think for me, maybe Armagh. The couple of us went there. That was an unreal race, just because there's so many people. The atmosphere is electric. It was huge. And I'd beat some of the England squad there. And then the next year was COVID. So I was gutted that I could have made a team. Anyone else with the club?
Yeah, on the gold,
Yeah.
you were on the last leg as well, weren't you, in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
I know.
It's a great picture, that.
I know, like we're running across the line. Oh, I know.
Did you make the front cover of Athletics Weekly? You did?
Yeah.
Wow, brilliant.
First time ever.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I think our training camps as well are really cool. Every year we've gone to Portugal as juniors, but I think because we're all getting a bit older now, we can make our own way. So for the past 2 years we've been to Fontremo, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember Duncan telling us about the the setup with the juniors and the young athletes, and some doing things that make them enjoy the sport and want to stay in the sport, because I think that's half the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah,
One
definitely.
thing Duncan mentioned as well was didn't he make the juniors make tea for everyone else
that's
as
what
well,
we do
which
every
kind
time
of
we go.
prepares everyone.
Yeah.
So that's good.
No, absolutely. It's very inclusive. I think if I didn't have them when I was younger, I don't know what I'd be doing now. If it wasn't for the club and the community and having just people around you that all do the same thing, and everybody just likes everyone, because when people do sport, you're happy around you. And having that around me, that support.
Yeah.
You're definitely a great example of what Duncan talked about on his episode, because you're here all these years later and doing brilliantly well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have had quite a few guests on from Salford, haven't we? And you just mentioned a couple of things there about the trips and the team aspects, but what is it that you like so much about the club?
Again, they're just so supportive. When I was younger, and we were going to say the relays and things, and we'd all get a bus and we have to pay for it, they'd just go, "Oh, Sinéad, it's fine, we've got it." Like, they're just so nice about it. They don't make you feel like you're not included ever. Everyone they'll just jump in and give you a lift. Like, Dave, have you ever been on the bus where they're all getting pissed on the men?
No, but I've heard all about it. Have you
I'm
been
sure
sure?
you've met them before they went home.
No.
It's mental. But like, the men and the women, they just don't care. Everyone's just mates.
Me and Martin normally car share to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, and Bruno's always late. Always misses the bus.
I have seen the fallout from some of the coach trips, though.
Really? Going to Birmingham.
Yeah. So what would obviously where you are now in your training, what does a typical running week look like for you? And are you currently coached, or do you do your own thing?
Yeah, so I still have Duncan coaching me for the running stuff, because I don't feel Hyrox is much different to running. You can still do the same running that I used to do for Hyrox training, basically, because about 65% of the race is running. So I still do all my run stuff. So Duncan still does that. I still go with the group, and we've got a really good group now on a Tuesday of girls. Like, I think they're about 17, 18, but they've all sort of grown up and got to that point where we're all similar. So that helps, having people. I don't think I could do it on my own. So yeah, Duncan still coaches for the running stuff, and then I've always done gym. But as a runner, you just do 10 reps, 3 sets, don't you? Like, you just do the basic.
Bare minimum.
Right. But now I'm a bit more specific. So yeah, I have a bit of knowledge in that, and then my fiance is he's was a power lifter, so he's a coach in strength. So he helps me with that side of things now. So I don't really have a coach as such for one thing.
Nice. Okay. And we know that you're also a physio, and you post a lot on your own social about strength and conditioning, particularly for runners. Can you tell us a bit about why that's so important?
Yeah. So I feel like all runners hate, don't they? They just hate strength. I used to love it. I think that's why I do Hyrox. So I'd say injury prevention. So if you're strengthening your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, you're putting less pressure on your joints, you're stronger for the runs, you're going to run more efficiently, you're going to run more economically, you know, you're going to be less fatigued. So for example, if you can do 15 reps on one calf and 30 on the other, which one's going to fatigue quicker? Which one's going to get injured? So it's that efficiency and economy, in the sense that if you've got a weaker right hip, it might be because your left calf is also weak or something like that. So like the gait analysis of it is important.
So there are benefits of strength work?
Yes, basically. So many. I could sit and talk all day about that.
I think
Get doing your strength training.
I think we found that out ourselves, didn't we, when we did the athlete assessment?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it opens your eyes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Massively, yeah.
That was a hard graph that day.
It was.
I was ruined.
It was going for like a nice chill out. Was it?
Bit of a laugh and a joke. Me and Callum did 82 miles that morning, thinking,
Oh no.
you know, and it was hard. It was ruined.
But that's another thing, isn't it? Like balancing, if you've got a long run and you want to do strength training, you do have to balance the two. Somebody asked me that recently, how do I juggle doing the strength and then running, because they felt like they were running slower. But to a point, you have to just sacrifice that. And then on race day, you're not going to have done your strength that week, so you'll feel really fresh and light.
Yeah. I keep up with it now because I've seen the benefits, definitely.
You have,
100%. Yeah.
What was your big injury?
It was posted tendonitis.
Okay.
And it was just caused by a number of other weaknesses, really. That
Ankle, calf area.
Yeah. And I've been given a number of strength exercises over the years that I'd carry on doing, and I had that many really that I thought I might as well start going to the gym to do all these. But and then I've just thrown in other ones as well on the back of that athlete assessment. I don't know what they're called, so don't laugh at me. But, you know, the stand up sit down with the kettlebell on one leg.
Yeah.
I call them stand up sit downs.
It pretty much is that.
they're I think so good for your running. For my running, I've just don't notice a difference. And I actually got Claire to film me on the treadmill when I was coming back from injury. And then as we were going through and I was getting stronger, the gait just changing. So my ankle wasn't dropping in as much. Yeah. And I think when you see a difference,
you'll do
it's like anything, isn't it? It's like running, when you see an improvement, you think, oh, hang on, I'm onto something. And seeing that for me just made me think, because it didn't look pleasant initially. My ankle was dropping right in. So.
And then when you see it in slow motion,
that's what I was doing, it don't look good, does it?
1,000 steps a minute or something. That's happening to me.
It's no wonder I got injured when I saw it.
Now you think about it. And I also think on the sit to stand, because it's such a functional movement that you do every day, that's an important exercise to do for longevity. Like, we even get old people to do that. Not just runners.
Older than me, even.
Yeah. They're frail.
So just picking up on that then, on not on old people, but on sort of injuries. You see a lot of people coming into the clinic. What would you say are the most common types of injuries you see? Calves.
In runners, yeah. Oh, absolutely. People just neglect calves. They just do squat, deadlift, maybe a split squat. No one ever does calf raises. So yeah, I would say that.
What would you do then for calf? Or would you ask someone to do if you wanted to get them strong calves?
So bent knee calf raise is more important. Soleus is probably like one of the major muscles that you use when you run. So bent knee calf raises off step.
Yeah.
Straight knee as well. And then walking drills before you do all your sessions. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. I got a few listener questions in as well. So I got some questions from James Hartshorn of East Cheshire. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you. So you probably don't remember me, but I came to you last year at Athlete Matters after getting injured 4 weeks out from Manchester Marathon. From the advice you gave me, I managed to get to the start line and get my first sub 3 hour marathon.
No way!
There you go.
Congrats, well done, James. 4 weeks out as well.
That's good, that, yeah. I mean,
I must have done something right.
So his question is, how did you get into physiotherapy?
I went to college, studied A-level PE, and then the sciences, and then went to uni and studied undergrad.
Yeah, so it's something you wanted to do.
Want to do it.
Yeah.
that's the process of doing it. I think I always had an interest in like running, gait analysis, human biology, and just how it all works. I'm just interested in the body, and I think that's why, like, when I talk about it with my patients, I'm so passionate about it, because I love it. Like, I want to know what's going on.
Do you think? Sorry, I know that's the end of my question.
You're not in trouble.
Do you think that helps you as a runner as well?
Yeah.
Knowing that.
Yeah, like I've never had a serious injury.
Yeah.
Touch wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get niggles, but that'll be something that I've done. Like, I've not slept enough or partied too hard, or like that's something that's my fault. Yeah. So I think because I understand it, and then if I get something, sometimes you know too much. Sometimes I think, oh, I've got a pain, I've got a stress fracture, oh my god, I need to stop. But yeah, I think I can listen to my body better.
Yeah.
And understand my own imbalances.
Nice. Okay. That's my question. Thank Callum. Thank you.
Cheers, Sean.
Thank you, Sinead.
Welcome, Sinead. So, of course, this is a running podcast, but we can't not ask you about Hyrox. So
I think runners should do Hyrox. All the runners
See,
doing
Sean?
Hyrox. They're
We tried to convince
it.
Sean.
So my idea was to do a Hyrox
Doubles?
session with you, and then record it after. But Sean was adamant that
Not in the marathon
not in the marathon block. So it could be something on the cards later in the year.
When's
if
the
you're up for
marathon?
It was 7 weeks yesterday.
So we've got to wait 8 weeks.
I reckon so. Yeah. And then I need to recover.
Yeah. We'll need to do
What
some
I could
serious
do-
gym training to be able to do
I can
this.
come down and time you all.
Yeah,
You can
give me
record
the
it.
rep.
Sinead's on my team though. So for us and for our listeners who might not be fully aware, what exactly is Hyrox, and why do you think it's become so popular recently?
So it's a functional fitness race where you run for 1k 8 times, and then you do 8 different exercises, and the exercises are so varied. It's a bit of upper, a bit of lower, you know, your calves hurt, then your quads will be hurting, then your biceps hurt, your triceps hurt, so it's a bit of everything. And I think it's become so popular because a lot of people are in their fitness era, aren't they, at the moment? Like, everyone wants to get into it, but also everyone can do it. It's so inclusive. Like, if you go to the competitions, people might do it in 3 hours, and they're all congratulated the same way. When I got the world record and I ran through, they were like, oh, and I was like, I think it's a world record. And they was like, oh, is it? Next person runs through, congratulations to you too. So, like, everyone was just celebrated in the same way.
Yeah.
And they also have an adaptive category now as well. So amputees are doing it.
Wow.
I know, it is insane watching them doing it. And the rest are a little bit strict still. So you'll be doing burpee. You have to do a burpee broad jump. So this person was in a wheelchair and they were doing the jump. So then she puts her foot there so he doesn't start any further up past where he just finished. And he had to do it again.
Wow. So what's the order? So you'd run a K,
Yeah.
and then you would do one of the
Ski.
exercises.
Yeah.
So it's
Ski erg first.
and then
Run another K.
What's next?
Sled push.
And then
Run a K. Sled pull. Run a K. What am I on? 4th one. Burpee broad jump. And then row. Farmers carry, lunges, wall balls.
Next time you think K-reps are hard.
Yeah.
I know,
Remember
and this is why I
this.
think track's so good for it.
Yeah.
Is it always in that order? Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's a little bit different to CrossFit, because CrossFit, you don't know what you're going to get on comp day, and people lift really heavy, whereas Hyrox it's not heavy. It's it is a little bit. You do have to be strong, but the open category and the pro category are different weights.
Right. Okay.
So anyone can do the open category. If you go to the gym, do a little bit of something, you can do it. You'll finish it. It's just more repetition. So the wall balls, you have to do 100. For the ski, you have to do 1,000 meters. So rather than it being, really heavy, it's just lots of reps.
So you mentioned then about the referees as well. Is that are they really strict?
Not always.
Throughout?
Sometimes I think depends what level you are.
Right.
Like, if you're going for a world record, probably going to be. Or if you're in the elite 15, probably.
You
The
say
wall
100?
balls, yeah, they
That would
tend
take
to be
me
quite
all day,
a
surely.
little bit more strict on them. No, it wouldn't.
Isn't it a squat and then up as well?
You have to go past 90 degrees, so that's
Yeah.
the bit where they'll be like, no, you're not squatting low enough. and it has to hit the
I saw you did
target.
the next day.
I know. Well, I see people in the gym doing it, and they're not doing 100.
No.
Well, they're not doing a competition in the
you
gym.
would
are
never
but they
practice doing 100. No, you do 20. You might do 20 something, 100.
It's like
Yeah.
a marathon.
I used to do
You're
that.
running a marathon.
Yeah.
Like training for it,
No, but it's
aren't
only
Yeah,
it's only a small part of the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but still, if that's your weakness.
Yeah.
you? Oh, come on, Sean. I want to see Sean do wall
We
balls.
do. We need
I know, we all want to see you do a wall ball now. Should have brought one in.
So, how did you get into Hyrox and start competing? Because I remember last year when I was at Greengate, and we originally had the idea to get you on, and we were talking about it, and you said, "Oh, I'm thinking about getting into." Because you said mainly about CrossFit then, and you mentioned about your now fiance. So, how did you actually get into the Hyrox and then start competing?
Yeah, so it was last May. My fiance bought me a ticket 3 days before the event because he was doing it. And he was like, "Oh, by the way, I bought you a ticket for London." So we turned up, and I'd practiced a little bit before because he'd been doing it in the gym. So I wanted to, I was getting a bit of FOMO. I was like, "Oh, well, I want to do that." So I had done a little bit of it, but I can't say I made it a priority. And I was still running, but just not like as good as I have been before because I'd met him. And I think I was enjoying my life a little bit. So I did that, and I did 101. And that's when we realised, shit, I became 8th in the world then. So he was like, you need to do another one. But we was going travelling America for a month after that. So we thought, right, just enjoy that month, come back, and then we'll train for it. And then that's when December last year, when I got the record. So like 5 months of training.
So the first one you did, you were very good. So you had that potential then, and then just went.
But then they changed the wall balls as well. So it used to be 75 then, and then they changed I think it was August, they changed it to 100. So not only did I have to beat my time, I had to now do 25 more wall balls to beat my time.
So if anyone was looking at taking on Hyrox like Sean's thinking, I would just suggest them getting involved.
Keep doing the running that you're doing. Intervals. You need a plan B. No. You need to do more strength. Definitely. Upper body. I think because runners don't do anything. You don't really need to, do you? So if you did want to do Hyrox, you'd have to do more upper.
Sean isn't really wanting to do it.
I do upper body strength, by the way.
Yeah,
Can we just?
Oh yeah, we can tell.
No, because everyone's watching here thinking I don't do anything as well on the camera.
Shows you biceps. The men's weights are heavier.
See, there you go. Here we go, international women's
category.
Well, the women's pro is the same as the men's open. So, like, if you was just starting off, you wanted to do the open, it would be the same as me. So we could train together.
Yeah.
If you fancy it.
Yeah. We'll stick to Greengate for now.
If you start falling off the back of that front group, let me know.
So, what specifically about Hyrox do you love so much?
I think the inclusivity of it. And for me, personally, running, I always knew something was missing. I really enjoyed the gym, whereas other people didn't really. And I think I always looked a little bit more musclier than the others. If you looked at a picture from me when I was younger, I looked like the muscliest one on the line. So I just, I knew something was missing in terms of that. So doing the strength helps with like longevity as well in life. Like if you're stronger, you're going to lose less muscle over your life. You're going to live a longer and happier, healthier life. So it's for everyone.
Pushing this strength training, aren't you?
Definitely. No, because I read something recently about sarcopenia. So like when old people get older and they lose their muscle mass, people just think about bones, don't they, when they get older, osteoporosis and things. But you forget about your muscle. So one day of not doing it, you already start to lose it. So you think that's how important it is.
Going to now start prioritising my strength.
Yeah.
So Kurt on Instagram says, how do you deal with DOMs from strength training while also doing the high mileage of running?
I don't really get DOMs. I think because I've done it for so long, I build it up slow. If I've had a week off and then I've gone straight back into with heavy weights, I probably would. But I ache a bit because of the squatting's heavy, but I try and like prioritise my week out where, say, if on a Tuesday I've got an upper and track session, Wednesday will be easy Thursday might be harder. So I'll do it like that, and you just figure it out. And then obviously loads of protein, like we were saying before. Who was saying that before? Yeah.
Sean's Sunday ritual.
Yeah,
there you go.
You're noticing it. That's what you said, didn't you? You noticed.
Well, obviously we're on a very similar wavelength when it comes to the gym. Unlike these.
You can relate.
So you've obviously had some massive achievements in the sport. So can you tell us about them 2 achievements, which is 2 world records? So could you give us a bit of an overview of how they went and what they were?
Yeah, so the Hyrox opened solo November last year, and I wasn't going for the record, and another girl had just got it in Manchester, I think maybe 3 weeks before that, so I felt bad doing it, thinking, oh my god, she just got it and now I've taken it away that quick. Like, how horrible was that feel? But so I wasn't going for it. I just knew that I was a lot fitter than when I did 101. So I knew that I could do something good because I'd got back to my full run training and I was stronger than I've ever been.
Do you think that's what's your strength in Hyrox then? What part
my
of it?
endurance. Yeah. Like the owner of Hyrox came up to me at the end of my race in Milan and he said, oh, your technique's shit, but your engine's great.
I love that.
Back there.
So I went, the owner of Hyrox.
Oh, right.
So I went home and I worked on my ergs and my row, because that's what he meant. But for me, it's 1k of effort. So I'm just going to do that as quick as I can, for as long as I can, and I'm not thinking about efficiency. And also, the row is the 5th exercise. So at that point, you're sitting down and you're having a break, because you've got farmers carry, lunges and wall balls after it. So you have to be a little bit tactical in the race.
Wow. And then the other world record was a duo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was the next day. So I did that on the Friday night at like 7 o'clock. Didn't sleep because I was on such a high, running off caffeine. So then I probably had DOMS. Yeah, I couldn't walk down the stairs after that, actually. And then the next day with my friend, it was such a last minute thing. And she was like, oh, someone's pulled out. I've got a ticket. Do you want to do it? I was like, yeah. And then I think a week later, I'd got the solo ticket. Because I knew I was fit, I didn't want to miss the opportunity. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry, I am doing the race before, but I'll still send it for you the next day. And did. So that was an age group one with her. I think we was in the 30 to 39 category because she was older and I was younger, so they brought it, you have to bring it up to equal it. And then we also went to Marseille in the December and got a relay record, but that was taken like not long after. Because prior to that it was a 75 wall balls record, so we did 100. Right. So we were like one of the first, I guess.
So do you get anything for getting a world record? Did
no.
You get not a trophy or anything?
Everyone gets a flag for podiuming, so
right,
you still
okay.
got your flag.
Cool.
Yeah.
You need to just get a trophy yourself.
I know.
Don't get a cool coaster like you do at the same time 5K.
Exactly. Medals are for losers. So do you plan to continue competitively competing at both running and Hyrox, or are you focusing one over the other?
Yeah, I still want to do both because I think I still have a love for running, and that's why I'm good at Hyrox, because of the running. But I think because of the sponsors that come through with Hyrox, it's a no-brainer. If I'm going to get paid to do it, why wouldn't I make it a priority? Yeah. So yeah, you have to go with what's going to pay the bills. But yeah, I'd love to do both. I think it made me a little bit slower at first because I was doing more strength, so I was probably a bit heavier, but I needed to get heavier. So that was what my weakness was compared to the other girls doing Hyrox. They were heavier and stronger than me. So I've had to work on that and eat more, which is hard to a point where you're just like, I don't want to eat anymore, I feel sick. But yeah, so it made me a little bit slower and I had to drop one run, and now I've swapped it for an erg, but I've just not seen the benefits of it yet because I've not done it for long enough, so just need consistency to see what it's like, and then do a run race. But there's just so much going on that you can't just, how do you slot it in doing the races? I think the fell running is good for that because you can just do that on a Tuesday night, you could just do it on a weekend, and it does work well with Hyrox because it's very like quad calf dominant. You have to be strong. So I could do some fell running still.
Cool. And then I think you've already answered this, but if you were told you could only choose one or the other for the rest of your life,
Yeah,
which would you choose?
Probably the start of the other question. What's going to pay my bills?
Yeah.
That's all from me, so I'll hand over to Katie.
Thanks, Callum. Welcome, Sinead. So we're obviously recording this episode as part of recognition of International Women's Day. So I wanted to ask you some questions from a female perspective. Yeah. So women in sport have progressed quite significantly over the years, but do you still feel that there's a gender gap in the sports in which you compete?
I think more men participate than women.
Yeah.
So that's a bit obvious. Like if you went to the Nationals, look at the start line of the men, there's way more men on there. In Hyrox, I think more men do, but they publish it just the same. It's such a like an Instagram social media world now, isn't it, that I don't really watch the news, so I can't say, oh, this man's put on more than the woman. But on social media I find that Hyrox is quite equal. They'll post, oh, these are all the women elite, these are all the men elite. But I find maybe pay is still very much a gap. I think with sponsors and more in athletics, they'll get paid, males get paid more, but in Hyrox, what they win, if you win the elite, is equal, but then if you get sponsors on top of that, depending on how big you are on social media, that's not really their fault, but...
So what do you think we can do to make sport more accessible and appealing to women? Because I guess, like you just said, the start line at the Nationals for men is a lot busier, isn't it? And we've just seen the Tameside 5K this week, and there were twice as many men as women.
Really?
Yeah, it was dead on twice as many. So there is still that gap, isn't there? I guess what can we do to
get women involved? I think maybe having more groups like ours where it's just women. Just like so they feel more comfortable and relaxed to participate. And like having a role model that's a woman, don't just advertise a male. I think on my algorithm on Instagram, because I do look and like at other women, it's just women. So if that's what you want, look at it, like it.
And I think that's where social media probably does help, doesn't it? Because there is a lot of women in kind of sport that
they can have positive effects.
Absolutely, And do you think that more research needs to be done specifically on women in sport? Because again, I think it's been quite male dominated.
I think a lot of the research is done by males on males, so there's no women involved, so we don't know how a woman's body works. Like they were saying with the protein, there was a study that came out that said women need to eat protein 20 minutes after exercise, males have a 2-hour window. So nobody knew that before. Same with eating before. So if a woman doesn't eat before they go to the gym, they don't stimulate the blood glucose, so they'll start to use their muscle before the body fat, whereas males can fast and it's fine. So there are differences. People don't know this.
But it sounds like obviously we're starting to know that, so I guess there's more research being done in this, so we're getting there, I guess. And do you have any particular kind of female role models that you look up to? Or have looked up to?
I think maybe in Hyrox there's a woman at the top called Lauren Weeks who has a baby and she wins all these records. And I think, how are you doing that whilst being a mum and having a business? But there's just so many women who I think inspire you in different ways. Like, look at how Keely's responded to like media, and she's so young. And other women, how they're so resilient, and there's not just one. I think it's just about being happy and clapping for other women. Absolutely. And then more and more women get involved with that.
And just moving on to body image, I guess it appears that you're quite confident with your body. We see lots of pictures on your socials of you being in the gym, happy to show your body, which is great, by the way. We love it. But do you ever feel the pressure to look a certain way because of the sports that you do?
I think when I ran, I always used to feel a little bit bigger than everybody else, just because I was more muscly. In Hyrox, I've never felt more comfortable and safe. I look at other women and I think, oh my God, you're all so ripped. Some aren't, but some of them at the top are. So I feel safe there. So in a gym, I feel better. I'm like, I don't feel like I can't just take my top off. Sometimes in running, I feel like that. Because I am a little bit more muscly.
So you don't feel like others in running. You feel more the same in the Hyrox
in
world.
Strength. So I do have that issue sometimes myself.
And just a listener question on that same kind of topic. So Andy Sykes said, Eilish McColgan's a massive inspiration hero of mine, but recently she's been posting some videos of very negative comments and body shaming that she has to deal with when posting her training updates. as someone who has an ever-increasing profile and I guess gaining more and more followers online, have you ever experienced anything similar? And if so, how do you deal with it? And if not, what are your thoughts on this?
It's awful, isn't it?
It's horrible, yeah. We were talking before we started recording about this, weren't we? And saying
it's just so mean.
Yeah, the comment, I think you shared them, didn't you, Dave, in our group? It's quite sad, isn't it? It's really sad, yeah.
It's always the ones that don't do any exercise.
Yeah.
And they're just commenting on someone who's enjoying their life.
Absolutely.
They're happy, they're doing
it's
something good
jealousy,
for the world.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
What do they get out of it? I don't understand. Yeah.
And it is hard because sometimes you can sit at home and think, this has got to me a little bit here, or if you're in a weaker moment as a woman and you're a bit hormonal, you might have a little cry about that might affect you a little bit. And what do they want to get out of that?
Exactly.
To make you stop. And then to make lots of other women who you've inspired to stop as well.
So is it something that you've ever experienced?
No, I haven't actually, but I think my advice probably would be, if that is happening, you know, make sure you are surrounded by other women who you can just send that message to and they'll all instantly start messaging you back, just being like, ignore this, you're amazing. You know, and think about what good you're actually doing for so many other people. You don't know who's watching you.
No.
So you could be inspiring other people. It's making you happy. And what's your goal in life? To be happy.
And that's the thing, it's often those people who've got something negative to say that will say it, and they like say, actually, if you forget all that, you're inspiring so many people who will just be behind the scenes not saying anything. So it's
just watching.
And
it's making you
horrible,
happy. The reason you do the sport or whatever it is you do, it's because of how it makes you feel. So would you stop doing that so then you're sad?
Exactly.
For this one person online?
It is, it's just sad though, isn't it? But I guess something to be mindful of, isn't it, with the ever increasing like social media. And then this is a very me question, but from a very practical point of view, you always look really fresh even when you're like training and competing. So as a woman, how do you keep on top of like your hair and everything? Always looks so glamorous. Oh my
gosh, I don't know what you're looking at.
You do, don't you? Always look stab of hair and everything. I'm like sweaty plaits.
In my eyes. I think because I've got curly hair, it's so frizzy that you don't realise that it is just a mess on my head. I'm just shoving it up here. If you look close, you probably see all the bits flying around everywhere. Maybe the cameramen are just really good at it.
Your hair always looks great. You always look like, I always think, what she needs, dry shampoo or what's going on?
No, it is just a frizzy mess. Because I've got curly hair, it helps. Because the messy look works with curly hair. And then I just shove a little bow in, and then it's like an icing on cake. You can't tell because you're looking at the bow there.
Exactly, Your bow's like your little thing, isn't it? No, it looks good. And then just moving on to your kits as well, so you always look great in your outfits that you wear. So do you have a favourite brand, and what would you recommend to other women in terms of dressing, again, both for running and Hyrox, in terms of looking good, feeling good?
Oh my god, look good, feel good. Absolutely. I would say if anyone is worried to go out for a run, wear something that you really like wear your favourite outfit. I would absolutely say gym track all the way, every day. Even when I ran, I'd still wear gym track, and all the girls would be like, where have you got that from? Oh, that's really nice. And now people have started to use my code at training, and they're like, oh, I really like that one. And then one of my friends have bought the same shorts as me. One of the other girls, the younger girls, have bought a crop top that I had on. I was like,
oh, that's nice. But they look amazing, and they do look nice
so
and comfy.
Nice. And and you can get thinner ones if you're a runner that likes the thinner material. Like get thicker ones. You can get a booty scrunching one. You can get whatever you like. They have it all. Guys,
booty scrunching for your wall balls.
That would keep you jealous. On the marathon.
I can all that. And on Park Road.
Oh, fab, thank you. That's all my questions. Thanks, Sinead. So I'll hand over to Dave.
Thank you, Katie. Welcome, Sinead.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we've had loads of listener questions for you. So we've had a couple to start with from It's All Abigail on Instagram. So her first question is, strength for runners, what are the best exercises?
Oh, for runners. Bent knee calf raises, single leg quad exercise, so maybe a split squat or a deficit lunge. Step ups, again, for quads. And then some form of hamstring exercise, so probably a RDL, single leg RDL.
Oh, that's what. Did you listen to Paula Radcliffe's podcast?
Yeah.
The one that's just out today, that's what they've said the best exercise for runners.
Stand up, sit downs, he said as well.
Did they say 3?
I haven't listened to the whole thing, but they said that one that you just said.
So what is an RDL?
Romanian deadlift. left.
Right. Okay.
Single leg though, they said, yeah.
Yeah, single leg.
Okay.
Because you don't know if you've got a deficiency on one side. So if you could do 15 on one, 30 on the other, you need to be working on that other side.
And Abigail sent another question. How would you best fuel a 5k race?
Oh, I would carb, probably 2 days before.
Yeah.
And then loads of hydration, loads of electrolytes. I wouldn't really do anything different, I suppose, because it's not like a marathon where you need to take gels throughout. So probably just carb up, electrolytes, and then some protein after for recovery.
Okay, cool. Next question is from Josie Lauren on Instagram. She says, your PBs are absolutely incredible. I'm very inspired. She's got 2 questions. So firstly, she's noticed that there's no half or marathon PB at the moment.
No.
Is this something you've got planned in the future?
I don't like long running.
Right.
Everybody says this. I came from track 8 and 1500 and I was like, I'm never running a 5k, that's too far. And then I did, and then I was like, I'm never running a 10k, that's too far. Now I think 10k is probably my favourite distance, but half's a bit too far.
Yeah.
Why is there nothing in between that?
Yeah, there is. It jumps from 10k to 10 miles.
It's so
The
weird.
odd 10 miler, don't we?
And I like to run fast.
Yeah.
And after 10k, I'm a bit like...
Because you did Ribble Valley 10k just before Christmas. Just
Yeah.
after Christmas, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a definite no for half marathons.
No, not yet.
But just out of interest, you said you don't like long runs. How far would you go on your long runs?
Yeah, so I like long runs with people, or like
Okay.
in the mountains and good.
Yeah.
But it's
Social.
slow, isn't it? Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
timed.
Yeah. Do you know how far your longest runs are normally?
On a Sunday, probably 10. I used to do 13, but because I'm not really like fully in the running, I'm more Hyrox now. I do a little bit less.
Okay.
Yeah, but if I was going with someone and they were up for doing a 13, I would do it.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get people to do that with you. And then at that point, I'm like, right, I want to go home and eat now.
You do seem to do some quite long tempos though when you've been to Greengate.
Yeah.
I've seen you go
4, 5.
Yeah, 5.
Been
You've
doing
definitely
4
done a
at the
few
minute.
5s.
Yeah, because I was thinking, well, Hyrox is 8k.
Yeah,
So I want to be able to cover that distance.
that makes sense. Okay, and then Josie Lauren's other question. Your journey to Hyrox world record holder, just 5 months after doing your first, is truly amazing. What tips do you have for people wanting to try it or just starting out?
Definitely run. Keep running. Get your running base foundation first, and then build up a little bit of strength from there. So like squat, bench, deadlift, your basics in the gym. Maybe do a few classes, but not as important. It's more run base, strength base.
Okay. And Johnny's on the run on Instagram as well. He said, with a high, busy training schedule, what are the most important things you do for recovery, and what supplements do you use daily?
Protein. My protein code. I use creatine a lot because there's more research in it. I think it's the most researched thing, isn't it, now? Not just for cognition, but for muscle strength as well. I would use that every day. I've started using BCAA as more of like an amino acid with the protein post-workout. They do a Hyrox formula where it's got carbs in it as well. So if you've done like a really heavy session and you're not getting home quick enough, that's good because it's got carb and protein in it and electrolytes. Electrolytes all the time, every day. Well, collagen I've started taking, collagen peptide for ligaments and tendons because that's what it's made out of. So I want to make it stronger.
Cool. I did have one more listener question, which actually came to me verbally, but I can't remember who asked me, so this question's going to be nameless. If you are doing strength training for running, do you would you advocate doing more reps of lighter weights, or would you advocate doing fewer reps but heavier weights?
Both. One of one each, yeah.
Okay, so
one a week, sorry. So
you'd mix
one,
it up?
Yeah, twice a week I'd strength train. One would be a 10 rep 3 set, and one would be heavier weight, less reps.
Okay.
So you'd work what we call RPE, so rate of perceived exertion is, if it's an RPE 8, you've got 2 reps left. So it should be quite heavy.
That's interesting because some people believe in one and some people believe in the other,
Yeah.
but I've never
wanna
actually
do
come across
both.
anyone saying...
So
a bit of both.
endurance is one, but then strength is the other. If you just kept doing that, you're not getting any stronger. So you'd have to do that. A strength block as well would get a little bit more complicated. Every week you have to build it up a little bit and then increase weight, decrease reps. But you'd have to do it over like a 4, 5, 6 week block and then drop it, like a marathon training, drop a week and then start again, drop a week, start again. So to actually get strong, but for runners, you just need to maintain.
Cool. That's interesting. Okay. So both sports you engage in are very demanding, and therefore fueling is key. So do you follow a strict diet?
I don't have a nutritionist or anything.
No.
But because I've done it for so long, I just love eating rice, chicken or beans and broccoli every day. Every single day for my lunch. And then tea is probably just a mixture of something like that. Probably pasta to mix it up a bit. Still broccoli, and then some form of protein, like whether that's chicken, a steak, minced meat, something. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, porridge every day.
Porridge every day. What do you have in your porridge?
Oh, so a bit of protein powder. I'm trying out a new one. It's called cereal milk, because I thought, well, it's the only one that will just taste like the porridge. Blue milk for my bones, and then seeds, flax seeds, honey, berries.
No peanut butter?
No.
Or jam.
No.
Dave's jam.
I
no
had too much peanut butter once and it's giving me the ick.
Oh no.
Do you ever get that?
Yeah.
Like you have too many eggs and you get the
I
ick.
wouldn't have thought that was even possible.
Yeah.
Loads of peanut butter in my
But I have heard there's a Biscoff spread that's meant to be really nice.
Yes.
Have you heard that?
This is our in-house expert.
It is.
Biscoff is your weakness.
Yeah.
So staying on food, what's your celebratory meal after a race or competition?
If I've not already meal prepped it and brought it with me, because I like to eat straight away, so probably a KFC at the service station. Some form of chicken.
You've run some fantastic races, but could you pick which your best race was for your performance and for the course? Armagh 5.
Yeah.
3K for the women, isn't it?
Yeah, that was unreal.
Yeah, someone asked me this actually last week. Why did the women race 3K at Armagh? Well, surely they prefer to do a 5K.
I think I have the option to do both. Don't they, at all of the league races, women still do 3Ks? You know, like BMC. Oh no, men and women do it, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's strange, isn't it? Because you don't really get 3K road races
No,
on
but
the
that's why
calendar.
it's so good.
I've never heard of it. Road.
I think it's my best distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were wondering that because we always watch. It's a great watch, and
It's
always
brilliant,
streamed,
Yeah.
And the women's
Well,
always
there
a
you
3K.
go.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that?
What, put on a 3K?
Yeah.
Will you come?
Sinead will okay, so we've talked quite a lot recently on the podcast about supplements and had some controversial thoughts. So we have just covered this a little bit. Do you take any specific supplements, and if so, why? So I think we have just covered
Yeah,
this.
the creatine and stuff.
Okay, yeah, so we'll move on to the next question. Do you have any particular rituals that you follow before a race or competition?
Oh, good question. I feel like it's like a week before. Make sure I sleep enough. If I've not slept enough, I'm probably like telling myself it's not going to go well, it's not going to go well. As a woman, I have like an everything shower, like the day before. Make sure everything's fresh and washed, hair, get everything set out the day before, plan my route on my phone, so OCD the day before, make timing to a T, and then just all like your supplements and stuff ready, probably my lunch ready. Nothing like weird and wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned about your meal prep earlier, you clearly clearly go into your races very, very prepared.
Yeah, because I don't want to have to think about anything else, and I don't want to have to, if it goes bad, be like, oh, it's because of that. Like I don't want to have that thought of, just take away any of the thought, and all I have to do is worry about the race.
It's like when you're travelling as well, isn't it? That's something you can prepare when you're away.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be trying anything new, do you?
Yeah. Have tried out your shoes already and stuff. Yeah, I think when I have a good race, I sometimes write down what I did like the day before and stuff, just to make sure that I still do it again. I have a massage 2 or 3 days before. I make sure I have a day off 2 days before and run the day before. I don't know if that's weird or if everyone does that.
Yeah, I think we all. Do you still keep? I keep a diary.
Working out like what's right for you. And again, it's that run before. I never used to run the day before, but then I think you guys run the day before. Don't you? So now I've started doing that, and again, it's working out what works for you. Isn't it, I guess?
Yeah, some people have a day off before. I used to.
Yeah.
But then I felt
I do know.
stiff, do you?
Yeah, so I had it where I think the last few races that I've had, I've not ran the day before. I used to do like a token 3 miles and then just do strides, and then like I was giving it a full send park run on Saturday. So Friday I just had off, and I felt great on Saturday morning.
Maybe that's your new routine.
Yeah. But it's not about me today,
You just got to experiment,
sure
haven't you?
they'll like
Never
to know.
experiment in your big competitions.
No.
You experiment in a
No.
small one, and then if you
Yeah.
find something that's worked
Yeah.
for you, then you might
Yeah.
try it again and again. Okay, what are your future goals then, Sinead, and what's next for you?
Have a few Hyroxes coming up. Don't want to give too much away.
Are you doing the road relays at the end of the month?
I am.
Yeah,
I'm going to
cool.
do national. I can't do the northern because it's not a Hyrox race. It's called Rise. It's a bit like a Hyrox on the 29th in Birmingham, so it would just be a bit too much. But there's prize money, so I'm not turning that down. Yeah, so that, and then I've got a doubles with my boyfriend in Belgium the week after, and then the national the week after that, and then the Worlds in June.
Nice.
And then maybe a couple in between, but I'm just not set yet on what to do.
Okay, right, we're going to finish with our famous quick-fire questions. Okay, so, road or trail?
Trail.
Morning or evening workouts?
Oh, good question. Oh, that's so hard. I feel like in the morning you've done it, but then I'm so much better in the evening. Evening?
Evening. Long intervals or tempo runs?
Oh my god, you need both. I feel like tempos get you fitter.
Hill sprints or flat sprints?
Hill sprints.
Recovery runs or rest days?
Oh, rest days, I'm probably dying by then.
Heart rate zone training or pace-based training?
Is that like feel?
Yeah.
Go off feel.
Okay. Cross training or focus solely on running?
No, you need a bit of cross training.
Competitive mindset or fun and enjoyment?
Oh god. I am so competitive.
We all
I knew what your answer was going to be there. And finally, I think this one's just for you. Running or Hyrox?
Oh my god, that's unfair. That's so unfair. I'm going to have to say Hyrox, it pays my bills.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that's all my questions. So thank you very much for joining us
you.
tonight. It's been brilliant.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you
thanks,
for coming
Sinead.
on.
Yeah, best of luck for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Sinead. Good
You
luck.
too.
That's it for this episode. In our next episode, we'll be speaking to a Charlton runner who is a mum of 2 and a journalist for ITV. She has PBs of 5k 17:54, 10k 37:06, half marathon 83:54, and the marathon 3:02:22. We will be speaking to Amy Wires, so send in your questions to Amy in the usual ways. And remember, we can all take steps towards forging a more gender equal world. This International Women's Day, we at the Local Runners Podcast pledge and commit to celebrating the achievements of women in our running community, and we'll continue to shine a light on these amazing individuals. But what will you pledge this International Women's Day to accelerate action? Let us know and tag us in your socials.